Welcome back to Chainsaw Man Anime Review, episode number 2. Rev it up. Yep. Okay, now with this one we're discussing episode 2 of the anime, Arrival in Tokyo. Now this one, the adaptation is quite unique because they basically adapt from chapters 2, 3, 4, and 5. But for 2 and 5, not the entire chapter. For chapter 2, they adapt pages 2 through 4 and they skip over 5 through 18. And they go through basically 924. And chapter 5, they pretty much go through the first 10 pages. Now, what was cut, I'll get to that. So, we pretty much start off with... Now, they do take some stuff from that particular stuff material was cut. And they kind of condense it, probably due to time. And they probably want to speed stuff along. And because there's a couple of new characters who make debut with this very episode. Plus, a location makes its debut. Yep. So you're like, okay, what about those that town that he was living in the first episode? That's completely forgotten about. Yeah, the whole events of the first chapter is mostly forgotten about the rest of the series because most focus on Chainsaw Man himself. There's no going back to that town at all. No, he has no reason to. Now you might be asking, is there any mention of the Yakuza in this episode? Nope. How about the manga after the first chapter? Nope. It's like the whole stuff, whatever happened in the first chapter, is completely changed once Mikita shows up in the last episode. Of course, they didn't invite her in this episode. So, they're driving along, and basically this is where... Now, there was a scene that was cut. Well, I'll get to that. So, basically... We have where Denji's hungry, and of course he apologized basically for it. He was like, no problem. And basically he's kind of being her pet. Yes, this was the thing in the early chapters. He basically was treated as her pet. So they stop, get some breakfast along, basically curry. Oh, he has some udon. And of course she gives him her coat because Denji doesn't have a shirt on. Nope, he doesn't. He does have shoes on. And shorts, but no shirt. So, about the first half of this episode, he walks around without a shirt on. That's pretty much what it is with him. So, they go get some udon, and then after ordering the food, he collapses. And then they bring up the fact later on he wakes up at Mikita's lap. Mikama, yes. So, because the reason why he collapses is because he lost a lot of blood in the last chapters. Basically, they have him collapse due to that. That whole thing of him collapsing due to lack of blood, that was completely made up for the anime, and just an excuse to skip over a segment where he saves a little girl from a devil. That would have been interesting, but they probably wanted to move along here, and they probably thought of this side mission before they actually go to the main headquarters. Or the Tokyo branch, anyways, of the public security, the public devil hunters, their branch in Tokyo. They probably thought that this was basically just a waste of time. Let's just move along here. Him eating noodles and having make him out where she feeds him because he barely can move, and then they arrive at the headquarters, and of course he talks about her. Of course, he keeps fantasizing about basically possibly touching her breast. Or possibly having sex with her. He thinks about a lot of the episode. Because he has become infatuated with her. That's pretty much how it is. So, they get to the office and, okay, so he's given like a uniform. He wears a shirt and tie. Well, he's given pants too. Now here's the thing. He wears his outfit throughout pretty much the majority of the series. With the exception whenever he's on a day off, but generally put, this is his outfit. A white shirt that has the sleeves rolled up, a black tie, which, by the way, he does not know how to tie a tie. Until she tied it for him. And, of course, he's partnered up with a new character. First of 2 in this episode. We have Aki. Yes. Who basically carries a katana with him. So he's shadowing him for a bit, and, of course, he finds him in the alley, where he proceeds to beat the crap out of Denji. And they make a small change here, where he lights a cigarette, they chop it, and of course he throws it on Denji, he basically puts out by spitting on it. Yes, it's kind of gross, but all they did here is change the direction of it. And then she gets up and gives him a low blow. Yep, kicks straight to the balls. That's what he does. And he does it more than once. He does it several times. He still gets beaten up, and eventually gets taken back to headquarters with his, oh yeah, Tentacle Devil is like lying, like, and Miko's like, oh yeah, you two got along perfectly fine. And then they go on a mission where they have to deal with a fiend, where it's possessing a dead corpse. Now, what was the thing doing when they found it? Basically, this thing was devouring a pigeon. And there was blood everywhere. Yep. And despite that he's requested to turn to the Chainsaw Man, Denji's like, no, takes his axe, which basically his only weapon aside from being Chainsaw Man form, and chops the creature's head off. Now, it's really he doesn't want to basically just be very painful for him. The actual reason why is so he can get hands on porn magazines. Yep, that's simply the reason for it. Of course, he keeps asking about Mikima. And then, of course, basically, then he should give it a partner in the episode, a fiend. This is the debut of Power, voiced by Sarah Weatherhoff. Yes. When I heard this, I'm like, I gotta check this out, because now I knew she was not gonna show up in episode 1 because that's adaptation of chapter 1. And if I remember correctly, I think she showed up in chapter 3, I think it was. Basically, introduction, she was like walking a hallway. She does her pose like it is in the manga. They actually show it in a distance, show it in the way it showed in the manga. And then they go out. Now, Sarah, I think for her debut episode, does an absolute great job. And when you hear the style of voice, it's almost like she gives basically a lot of the voices she tends to use me. Now, when I heard she was cast in this particular character, and based on reading her dialogue in the manga, I'm like, Sarah is the absolute best choice to play Power. That's what I thought, though, and I was proven to be correct. Yep, the best choice. Good job, Sarah. This was a great job for you. Now, she's only in a small portion of the episode where she just, see her walk across the rooftops. Now, apparently she stands because the horns are ahead. They run a couple police officers. Now, they make another small change here, where in the manga, basically, show his picture, along with the fact he's part of the public devil hunters. In the anime, it's just basically white with a little bit of characters on it, to show off that he's part of it. And I'm not really sure why they changed that far. They just did. And then they move along. They go to the rooftop. And of course, they're relaxing for a while. And despite she's kind of crazy, all of a sudden she goes sniffing. And she finds a devil. A cucumber devil. Where she proceeds to basically slice her one of her wrists. Bring out a blood hammer. Yes, a blood hammer. And proceeds to smash the damn thing with her blood hammer. And that's how the episode ends. Interesting episode. I gotta hand it to this one. Now, do I think cutting that side mission to Happy Chapter 2 was necessary? Yes, I do think so. I don't have an issue with it being cut. I'm sure probably perfectionists who prefer the manga over the anime probably felt as though that they did some wrong here. Not really, no. And also, one thing that this series basically, what people getting very irked about, was the uses of CGI. And so far in 2 episodes, I'd say the only CGI bit I saw in the first episode was Chainsaw Man himself, and a little bit here and there, but wasn't like the full, like a lot of the episode was CGI. No. It's used very sparingly, and of course the studio makes this is MAPPA. It's a different style. I would say it's a similar style what they do for Attack on Titan. Now, I have heard a rumor that this season is supposed to last for 12 episodes, but time will tell. Also, with the finishing of adapting, well, kind of in the ways, the first 4 chapters. Excuse me, you might be curious though. How many chapters will be adapted? The answer is... if you're curious though, 105 chapters. Yep, 105. Yeah, that's how much is left. But who knows how far the series will go to. I have no idea. But I'm enjoying the series so far, and I can't wait for the next episode, which airs next week. Well, the dub anyways. Okay, so that's specifically like a 2 comic corners gonna do. I'm doing 1, and then you go straight to the great John with the Phoenix. Okay, next video. Bye.